story of an agoraphobic woman who tries to hang up a painting, knocks a hole in her wall, and then the unraveling begins. What really happened to her? Let's find out in Stucco. Stucco tells the story of a woman named Jay. Jay is living alone in a house. She was in the kitchen when she got a phone call from someone. The woman seemed to be in a hurry to wash her hands and take something from the box. She picked up the phone and turned on loudspeaker mode. There was a man's voice on the other end who was talking about their relationship. Jake didn't answer, just listened in silence. She then hung up when the man said, "I miss you." When Jay was about to go to another room in her house, she accidentally dropped the noodles on the carpet. She looks annoyed because all the noodles she was about to eat were spilled. She then picked up the noodles that were scattered on the carpet. Now, she was even more annoyed because the noodles left stains on the carpet. The woman then took the cleaning fluid and brush. Unfortunately, the brush she used turned out to be dirty, and the stains on the carpet grew even wider. Jay returned to the kitchen, looking for the remaining ingredients in the refrigerator. However, there was nothing left there because she had finished all the instant noodle supplies at her house. Jay then messaged someone. After that, she intends to hang a painting on the wall of her house. She looked for the right place and intended to punch a hole in the wall. She took a hammer from the cupboard and punched a hole in the wall where she would hang her painting. But it turned out that she was too excited with her hammer because the wall cracked a big hole. Moments later, the doorbell rang. It was clear that Jay had an anxiety disorder because she was so afraid to open the door to her house. It took her a moment to muster up her courage. Moreover, she is also afraid to face other people. She crept up the wall near the door, and while catching her breath, trying to calm herself, she opened the door a little, took the package hastily, and immediately closed the door again. The next day, Jay had a counseling session with her psychiatrist via Skype. The psychiatrist suggested that she come directly to her office for a more detailed examination. Jay said that she would consider the advice of her psychiatrist. She then coughed a little. The psychiatrist looks worried about her condition, but the woman argues that she's fine. Jay, who was so nervous and anxious, didn't dare to leave the house. She then decided to undergo an online meditation to relieve her excessive anxiety disorder, but she could not concentrate on the relaxation session. The woman ended up watching a meditation video eating chocolate and said that this was what relaxed her. Jay then looked at the hole in the wall and found a few strands of hair there. She then threw it away. Jay downed her drink and surfed the internet before going to bed. Then she turned off her laptop and fell asleep. Not long after, she woke up feeling refreshed, walking slowly towards the hole in the wall. She stared at the hole in the wall. It seemed that something is wriggling about to come out of the hole. Instead of being afraid, she even approached it. The thing that was wriggling from within the walls finally came out. Something resembling a tongue, even more, attracted her. Her curiosity, bringing her face closer to the tongue. Unexpectedly, she even licked her tongue against the tongue of the wall with peak passion as they were having sexual intercourse. The next morning, Jay got out of bed as soon as she heard the doorbell. It turned out that what came was her ex-boyfriend who wanted to talk to her, explain everything. She was very scared because the man was screaming while banging on the doors and windows. Jay remained hidden in her house, very afraid and worried that the man would dare break into the house. But in the end, the man gave up and left because she didn't come out. In the window, she finds a message from the man that says, "You can't ignore me." Jay felt her cough getting worse and starting to have trouble catching her breath. She became more often to take her medicines. She then took the initiative to install a CCTV camera in case someone tried to break into her house. On the other hand, the hole in the wall seems to be getting bigger and starting to ooze fluid. Even at night, there are cracks under the hole in the wall. Jay closed the door to her room as she didn't want to see the hole while sleeping. Jay suddenly woke up near the hole in the wall. When going back to her room, she found a missing tooth on the floor. She then checked her teeth, but all of her teeth were still intact. She immediately panicked. Moreover, the hole began to make a sound. Jay immediately ran to her room and closed the door. She also checked the CCTV camera footage to find out what really happened. How surprised she was because in the recording, she took something as big as an arm out of her mouth, then she put the object into the hole. A frightened Jay tries to escape to the house, but her steps stopped in front of the door because she was so afraid to face the outside world. She was caught in two of the hardest choices in her life: face her greatest fear of the outside world or stay at home at risk of being terrorized by monsters from inside the hole in the wall. Jay then made her choice. She wants to break down the walls and kill the monsters inside to stay inside her house safely. Jay took a hammer and tried to knock down the wall, but what was behind the wall turned out to be something more terrifying than she thought. Darkness enveloped the atmosphere behind the wall as if she was in a vacuum machine, and she saw it. She saw the terrible monster in there. The monster pulled her closer. At first, she didn't move from her place, but her body seemed to be pulled by an invisible force. After getting closer, Jay could see that the shape of the monster resembled a throne made of human organs. She was forced to sit there, then put on a crown that looked no less terrible. For a moment, she seemed relaxed to be there. But then, the monster pulled her again with hands holding her shoulders and thighs, trying to trap the woman. Jay struggled, trying to get away from the monster with all her might. She took her hammer and tried to kill the monster. Then suddenly, things got very bright. When Jay opened her eyes, she found that she was now outside her house. There was the sound of a dog barking in the distance, and a woman was staring at her. Jay began to be able to catch her breath again. Jay then looked very relieved because the monster was just a hallucination, and the outside world wasn't as bad as she thought. The short film ends.